Welcome students of Form 4. This is the first video I will do for this period, semester 2, and it is about the goals for the test, anti-slavery movements, and emancipation in France. Also, following on this, I will do the sugar industry and attitudes to labor after emancipation, after the ending of slavery in the Caribbean and the Americas. I will not do all questions, that will take too much time. And also, I want to put you to work and not myself. And those other questions are easier. The questions I will do in the form of these videos are explaining and describing in depth videos. And not so much because you have to reproduce what I'm telling you, but more because I want to show you what I expect of you in answers during the test, and I want to work towards a more academic way of formulating and making sentences and using the English language in a higher level. Yeah? Okay. And we will look at explaining and describing in depth. We'll begin with goal 5. And the goal is describe how the British abolition movement contributed to the abolition of slave trade by the French monarchy. I will talk more about the French monarchy later on, what is meant by that. But first, the answer. The British anti-slavery movement, the British abolition movement, sent hundreds of petitions with hundreds of thousands of signatures calling on the British government to persuade the French monarchy to end the slave trade. You see, I made a few very important words that have to be in the answer read. Looking back at it, I've told you guys, I will tell you guys more about the French monarchy. Behind me, on the chair, is Louis the 16th. He will be beheaded as his wife. Behind me, I don't know if you just can see her. She will also be beheaded during the French Revolution. Then we'll have Napoleon, and after Napoleon, the French monarchy comes back in the form of Louis the 19th, I believe, and he is standing behind the chair, like this, watching what's happening there. Yeah? And they're all wearing wigs because royalty, not only in France, but in the whole of Europe, if you were like royal or of high social standing, you wore a wig. Yeah? The words that got to be in your answer are to send, petitions, signatures, and the sentence to persuade the French monarchy to end the slave trade. Now I'll show you a more original way of answering question or goal 5 by using or incorporating these 5 words sentences. And again, the British abolition movement contributed to the abolition of slave trade by the French monarchy. With the beginning, I return to the question. Yeah? Describe how the British abolition movement contributed to the abolition of slave trade by the French monarchy. And I begin by coming back to the question. So, the British abolition movement contributed to the abolition of slave trade by the French monarchy. Yeah? And then I begin my own answer by sending hundreds of petitions, yeah, pieces of paper, petitions, with hundreds of thousands of signatures, yeah, a firma, on it to their own British government. The purpose, the goal of this was to force their own British government to persuade the French monarchy to end the slave trade. Yeah, so the question is describing, we did this, yeah, extensively. And what do you have to describe? How the British abolition movement contributed to what? To the abolition of slave trade by the French monarchy. Yeah. So the beginning is coming back to the question, yeah, and the ending is it contributed to what? to persuade the French monarchy to end the slave trade. So this would be a more original and a more owned way of answering goal 5. I hope you found this clip helpful and informative, and I hope you will watch more. And the goal is not so much that you have to reproduce this, but you have to be able to do this by using these 4 core words and coming back to the beginning, to the question. So these are really important elements to use in any answer you give to a question, to a goal.